big serve from Kretz. We talked earlier in the game about coaches calling a timeout on the serve to Iceland. It looked like it worked there as Kretz gets that one from the net. Molker goes back to serve here for the Lancers. Trailing by 6 here in the fourth set. Molker goes up with the serve there. Perrin handles that one, sees that over to Campagnola. Spike there, and that one again. It's just too easy for the Excalibur right now.
And the Lancers blocks just weren't there. They just didn't get there in time. They were slow and late getting up. And you just can't have that on the outside and the power side. You have to set that block and really be strong up, or you're not going to be able to block.
Martin across the Lapala. Lapala gets that wipe off the block and out. It's 19-13 here for the Excalibur.
There was a little bit of fire from Lapala as he was able to put the ball down and get it back for the Lancers, but we'll see how Greaves is able to respond.
Nice little floater from Greaves there. Nice, smart little play there from Campagnolo as he saw that the Lancers were totally waiting for that pass, and he just flipped it over the net. He's totally unprepared for that one.
That's what happens when you have a setter who can do things like that. And the Lancers all game have been concentrated on the setter going up for that dump, and he hasn't once done it. And the one opportunity where the Lancers try and cheat and try and really key on that middle attack, the setter takes advantage of it. Campagnolo does.
That's something the Lancers need more of from their setter, Glenn Martin. He's just as capable of making shots like that. He just doesn't seem as willing to pull the trigger as maybe he should be.
Especially in a game like this where not a lot of your offensive weapons are going.
That ball goes off the roof. The Lancers are making a small run here. They cut the lead to 4. It's 20-16. They trail.
Martin's a really reliable server for this Lancers team. A good guy to have in the line at this opportunity. Lancers were able to get 3 blockers on that Kretz roll shot from the back, but there was nobody covering behind the blockers, and that ball fell down.
Byrne will go back to serve here. Excalibur 4 points from winning for the first time in 9 games. Cahoon off the block. Campagnolo to Kretz. And there's Lapala there. That's a little bit better defense from the Lancers. And Lapala goes up there. Up it's blocked. Eamon. There's Molker on a nice little tip. Campagnolo. Byrne. That's off the block of Eamon. That ball goes up. Martin. Cross. Molker there. That goes off the block. Campagnolo. To Perrin. Perrin sends up Byrne. Byrne. A little roll. That goes off the net. That will be 4 hits. Point for the Lancers.
Well, a lot of scrambling back and forth, but no one was able to attack at the net. We saw a lot of back row hits, and neither team was really able to get any of their offensive players in the front court going on that one. Makes it a bit easier on the defensive and the blockers.
Campagnolo, that's a big spike there from Kretz, but there's Martin ready for that one. Cahoon across. There's Byrne. He sends that ball across to Kretz. That's a big swing there from Kretz. Off Greaves' dig, but that ball can't quite find the line on the other side of the net.
And in the first 2 offensive attacks there for the Excalibur, we did see the Lancers do a good job of getting a block on Kretz, and the Lancers were able to pick it up, but on that 3rd one, no block, and Greaves couldn't handle it.
And there's Kaiser Ward there. Martin, that's a nice little play there. And that's a nice play for Eamon to finish on.
That's something that we haven't seen the Lancers really get going at all. Is that quick ball to Eamon in the middle. He really hasn't had that going at all today. And that one caught the Excalibur off guard.
That's another point. And as we said multiple times, the Lancers live and die through Lapala and Molker. And that, I think, today has really hurt them because their offense has been much more predictable than the Excalibur. Here goes back to serve for the Excalibur. There's a little brain cramp there from Jared Molker as he went for the volley instead of for the dig, and he just couldn't handle that one. And it's not match point now for the Excalibur. Perrin goes back to serve. The serve is up. Lapala to Martin, across to Molker. That ball is in the net. That will be the match. And for the first time in 9 games, the Trent Excalibur have won a men's volleyball match.
they just came out and were the better team today. The Lancers didn't really show up and didn't really bring their greatest offensive game to the table today, and Trent was a better team. They got all their weapons going, and credit Kretz. I mean, Andrew Kretz really stepped up for this team. In the first set, they didn't have much of an offense, and when Kretz got his game going, it seemed to really elevate the rest of the team and really showed that this Trent team isn't as bad as their record indicates.
Yeah, it really isn't, and they really put on a good display here today. But for the Lancers, that's a tough loss. As we mentioned at the opening of the show, they were 2 games out of a playoff spot, and they played the worst 3 teams in the league, one of those being the Trent Excalibur today. They've blown today's opportunity to gain some valuable points, so they're going to need to beat a team like Algonquin next weekend, or even the next day after that, a La Cité team. They really need to win that one, Byron.
Certainly, Chris. The Lancers have made things a lot more difficult on themselves. But they're certainly a team that's capable of it, but sometimes they fall back and they aren't confident in themselves, and I think that's what we saw today. They got down, and when they missed a few opportunities, they just couldn't get anything going. And so I think going forward, they just have to really bear down and be confident in what you have as a team, and they'll be able to beat teams like La Cité and maybe even push into the playoffs.
Yeah, well, we saw them play really well against the number 2 seed Durham Lords last weekend, so there's no reason to believe that this team can't finish the season 5-0. It's whether or not they actually show up and do it as to whether or not they will. That's all the time we have for today here in the OCAA men's volleyball action. We will be back again next weekend when the Lancers play host to the Algonquin Thunder. Till then, my name is Chris Lee for Byron Hackett. So long, fans.